Welcome in, everybody. It's the start of a new semester, and with that, it's a start of a new season of GLEC. My name is Jeremy Planasek. I also go by Error, as you can see right there. I'm from BW, and that's going to be one of the schools that you're watching today. It's going to be Baldwin Wallace taking on Valpo here in Smash Ultimate. Another set of crew battles, a new week, a new semester, a new chance for everybody to prove their worth in this, in this whole area. So, this game, obviously, it's the start of the season, so there's a lot of movement for a lot of these teams. Obviously, this may not be your strongest opponent. You may be starting off your season with the most difficult matchup. It's always important for these teams to come into these games knowing exactly what they want to get out of these matches and how they want to approach them. If you're looking to build a lead early, some of those early season games are going to be your best opportunity, because once it gets late and once it gets to crunch time, you're going to be fighting for strings. And as always, every week matters. We've got a in-person postseason that comes up for all these games. I believe Smash hit that threshold where there's going to be 10 teams qualifying. So it's going to be the top 2 out of both the Erie and the Michigan division, and then the next best 8. So it's all about building that lead. And if you can't secure the best in your region, you best believe that you got to be better than everybody else in the, in this entire league. So these two teams, again, start of the season, it's time for you to prove. Both teams have had some shuffle ups as far as I am aware. Obviously, I go to BW, so I know this team has shifted around a lot. We've had some players graduate out, some new players who we were training come up into the May team and really coming to prove themselves as far as things go. And on the side of Valpo, a little less familiar with them, but I would assume the same thing has happened, whether it's players graduating out or new players getting to that level where they can usurp those positions. As we cut over to these teams, you'll see 5 players laid out for each of these rosters here. In this setup, crew battles, for those who are unfamiliar, it's going to be essentially a 4v4. Each team has a maximum of 4 players they can throw out there, meaning a maximum of 12 stocks to be taken. Whichever team is able to take the other team's 12 first is going to get a point. It's going to be first to 2 points to win the match. So it's going to be a lot about early game, figuring out, doing your research, and then as you get later into that mid and late game, when we get to the second or even required third round, it's all about knowing what the other team has, what your team goes well into it, and just figuring out who's playing hot on the day and making sure that they are showing up and doing their best. I was going to say, I believe we shuffled out some tech issues, so we are going to be loading into this first arena. It's going to be, again, BW versus Valpo. It's going to be AAG taking on Goomba. I know Goomba's a Link player. He's one of my personal friends. He's my roommate this semester. So if he does poorly, I will make sure he does not hear the end of it. But, we're going to be looking at how these teams start off and how that strategy with who you start with and who you save in your back pocket as counter picks, whether it be character or person-wise, that's really going to develop as these teams become more familiar with each other. So this first week, it's a little bit of just kind of bashing your head into a wall, figuring out things as they go, depending on how good your scouting can be. But as soon as we get into week 2 and week 3, everybody's going to start knowing what exactly they're going to be going up against. And that's going to be AAG locking in the Sonic. And this will be an interesting matchup for sure, because Goomba, I know from prior seasons and also talking to him, has played Sonic and still considers it one of his mains. So one of those things where kind of trying to understand how are these players going to play against each other. Experience with Link, I know, is something that's not quite as common as possible when you look at the greater scheme of things. Link is not a very common character that you'll find, but he's got a lot of really good options, a lot of really good mobility, and a lot of really good projectiles, allowing him to really control space. But Sonic, as we're seeing right there, the mobility of spin dash and just kind of the game plan of controlling pace and making sure that you are the one that is not necessarily making the first move, but is making the best move always, is something that's made him such a relevant character in this meta. And again, AAG did have the early percent lead, but it's going to get knocked just slightly into the favor of Baldwin Wallace and Goomba. So really trying to figure out, again, just who's going to be able to take that first stock and how long are you going to be able to extend that lead. And I say this neutral, it's something that's made Sonic I don't know if I want to say infamous in current meta, but I think infamous is the best word. This very slow, methodical play out where you don't want to be the first person to make the move, because if you make the wrong move, you are going to fall short. But it is going to be Goomba able to control pace a little bit until getting homing attacked right out there. And these players just trading blows back and forth, really trying to figure out each other's play style and what's going to be the best way to go about things. A bomb now out on the field for Goomba could provide major... could have provided a lot of value, but will not cover anything. And the grounded up B will be able to take the first stock. Baldwin Wallace taking that early lead. Now looking to extend it a little bit further on this first stock before Goomba gives it up to AAG. And that boomerang is proving incredibly useful, even being able to break out Sonic from these early spin dashes, really providing a lot of good value. But back throw going to put Goomba off stage, and with that, with the springs, just able to sneak by, and the fair is not going to quite connect. So Goomba able to reset into this neutral now, looking to take control back, and it's going to be a little bit of a follow-up, a little bit of a mix, but AG able to break out of it fast enough, able to play the close game, but the F smash not going to connect. Will be the fair, though, sending Goomba off stage. We're really fishing for those kill moves at this point. Again, Link approaching 160%, so Rage is going to be almost fully active, if not fully active at this point. Trying to parry out that homing attack, not quite going to land, but the cancel on some sort of smash attack almost certainly would have killed, but now gives Goomba a second chance, a second life. But that up smash, it's going to kill every day of the week at this point. Now, equalized stocks, but AAG at 75%, while Goomba completely fresh. Looking for something, and this is where that base speed of Sonic really going to come into play. Link is a, relatively speaking, slow character on the ground, so a lot of these follow-ups are really going to require on knockdown hits, not really going to be able to just raw chase and get a grab. Oh, and that up smash going to send back up. Goomba able to break it back into neutral. We go, but AAG just gets it rolling, keeps it moving. Up smash is going to be able to connect, nearly equalizing percents here. But Goomba, ooh, in that neutral, could have started something massive, but will not be able to. Bomb back out on the field. Could be something tricky. We'll just opt to explode it early and keep things kind of stationary, kind of simplistic as we look for this back and forth. Again, both players really trying not to make the first wrong move, so it's a very passive play style here. Whiffed grab, but it is going to be that F smash, not quite going to punish, but the weight on the spring. Good counterplay here from Goomba. Now back on stage, and then it grounded up B, takes another stock now. AAG on his last. It could be Goomba getting a 2 stock here, but again, 127, very vulnerable to a lot of Sonic's moves, but the edge of that up B, able to connect, able to get a little bit of damage start, and homing attack not quite going to lock on. Keeps things moving around. Goomba able to get that, and the F tilt, bomb off stage. AG just barely able to bring it back. Goomba not quite able to find a kill confirm onto it or any sort of big damage. Resets us back into neutral, but that boomerang could lead into something. It will not. AG able to reverse. Ooh, and the up smash trying to read some sort of movement, but it will not come through. Ooh, the bomb getting ripped, but unfortunately, this the spin dash or the charge dash just not quite sending the way that you want it to be. Unfortunately, back off stage is going to give BW the 2 stock advantage going into the next character. And the value with these crew battles is now Goomba going to be playing with a fresh 2 stocks, not having to worry about being at 130%, I want to say. Just going to be completely equalized. Everything is going to go down, and we're going to be seeing Trombone come in for Valpo. So again, once you start to see all of these players come out, all these characters come out, that's when you can really start to formulate a game plan both ways. Again, BW still having what was shown on the graphic 4, but what I personally know, do a little count here, 5 characters sitting in the back. So really it's a toss-up for who they want to throw out. I have an idea of the 3 that they're going to play around, but then that 4th can shift up. But also matchup dependent. Sometimes you just know a person's got a character on lock. And with Valpo, it's the same thing. You have a character pool that you know you can work with. So it's really about figuring out what are the habits of the player you're playing against. what are the habits of the players that you know you're going to play against once you figure that out, and who's going to really match into that very well. So Valpo taking that time to really discuss habits, figure out game plans, and bring your next player up to speed on what they need to go for. And, what exactly you want to go for. And stage selection, also incredibly important in this, figuring out where you want to take people to. If you're that winning team, you obviously get, I believe it's 3 bans on our stage list, and you're able to really choose, hey, how much or what stages do I really not want to let happen? And whether that be a character dependent thing or a match or a just general thing where hey, my character just never likes these 3. Doesn't matter who I play into. I just don't want to go there. Controlling that is massively important. But from this, it looks like we are going to be swapping up stages. Obviously, Goomba sticking in. Going to be drifting more over to small battlefield. So not a massive change up from PS2. It's going to be a lot of similar ideas coming out, both being dual plats. So really, with both these players now, correct stages selected, it's going to be a Falco coming out. And I can tell you right now, Goomba has a lot of experience with Falco. For those who don't know, not only last semester did Baldwin Wallace have our very own Falco bumps. Unfortunately, had to leave us, graduated, but Baldwin Wallace within the resides of Neo, and if you know Ohio Smash or Midwest Smash and you know Neo, we got Dr. Curb in this region, and he knows what he's doing. Currently playing for CSU, so if you follow any of theirs matches, you'll see it. And we already saw a little bit of what makes Falco so good. It's going to be a lot of those, what we in the community, well, at least I like to call, and I know other people like to call cutscene combos. A lot of those strings where you can get 60, 70% just off of one interaction because of just the speed that Falco has and that back air. It's an incredibly deadly move. I've seen it kill super early for players who are just not ready for it. But Goomba, a little wise, able to DI out of it, gets the bomb mix-up, and now sending a lot of stuff off stage. Trombone just barely able to make it back off of that Fire Falcon. And the up B ripped early is going to allow for the punish Goomba. Able to get onto the ledge, but it's going to be the fair, barely not killing. But that positioning would have been lethal. The up B able to connect and able to put Goomba back onto the stage. And now both these players nearing that kill percent. They're going to need to play carefully, and Goomba grounded up B. It does so much for you with Link here. It's not quite as much of a duel as some characters up Bs, but it really will get a lot done for you. But now at 140, Trombone really can connect with a lot and be able to get that kill. So Goomba, it's all going to be about how much value can you find on this stock, and then you'll be on your last. Ooh, the up air not quite going to be able to confirm, and the dare not going to be there quite, but the illusion into the up air is going to be the confirm. Goomba now onto his last stock. And Trombone sitting at 65, able to get the reflector now into a little bit of damage here. It's going to be the string. Goomba able to break out of it with some nice positioning and some active hitboxes, but Trombone now still, again, slightly down on percent, but really with Falco, this could be immediately alleviated if all he does is just hit 1 or 2 of those strings, and that up air into bear. It's going to start it trying to get a 2-frame onto Goomba, but it's not going to quite connect. Bomb back out, not going to find anything, but that grounded up B, not quite going to be enough here. It's not that strong, but the bomb drop will find more value. And the cross illusion to set us back into neutral. Game of chicken here. Who is going to rip the wrong option first? And right now, Goomba, it looks like he's been ripping all the good options against Trombone. That bomb, it's going to get reflected, and it's actually going to do damage to Goomba. Could have been massive, but that grounded up B going to get shielded. Run up smash for Trombone. It's not quite going to equalize stocks, but it's going to equalize player numbers. So now, when you look at Falco, right, he's got a lot of great options against a lot of characters. He can just... He's got coverage on pretty much the entire cast, and I know from talking to our Falco player who was here and our Falco players across the region, because Neo's got multiple of them for some reason. We got a lot of the bird. there's a lot of coverage that Falco gives you. There's so much options, so many ways to play matchups that are very similar, but all have their own unique flair to them. And the main thing that just covers everything is going to be those combos. It's going to be just going for resets and going for playing around characters and playing around, different weights and whatnot. Now, obviously BW, they have a good amount of coverage for this character. So there's some options that you have in here that maybe you want to rip. They're a little bit more standard in the matchup. And it's actually going to be one of the new additions to the BW team, Gogogoro-san. I know they pilot Joker, and I know exactly why they got thrown in. Goomba, again, being one of my close personal friends, also being the captain. We talk a lot of shop about the team. I've been watching Smash for a minute. I watch a lot of Collegiate as well. So I know a lot of this, and I know Gogogoro-san piloting the Joker going to be coming out here. They are incredibly scary when it comes to a lot of that offstage play. If they're able to get you off stage, they're a scary person to go against. Joker, just in general, is an incredibly scary character to go up against off stage. Gun, a lot of his aerials are incredibly active and very fast. Looks like we are going to have to get a little bit of a controller, paired up. Looks like we didn't quite get that done before the match happens, which it is what it is sometimes. You got to get those paired up. But Joker's got a lot of great options to keep people off stage and really deny a lot of recoveries. And Falco, for as good as he is, you get him off stage, a lot of his options are incredibly linear. Illusion is just a straight line. Firefox, you can't do a lot of wiggling with it. It's going to be a, generally speaking, straight line. And Gogogoro-san, they've been improving at a rapid pace. They joined us last semester, didn't quite get a ton of playtime in here, but did get a good amount of playtime down in NACE, and they've improved almost tenfold coming into this semester. So getting them out, getting them some early experience is really going to be massive coming into this year, as a lot of our players, a lot of our cornerstones are going to be leaving us at the end, and they are only a sophomore at this point. So seeing them come through the system and really get into collegiate esports especially is really going to be beneficial. So Trombone going to have to SD, only going to be down to that 2 stocks as opposed to the Gogogoro-san 3. But it is going to be a matter of how much are each of these players able to play their advantage state. Early laser going to come out for Trombone and not quite able to continue the ladder combo. It is going to get denied by the side of Gogogoro, but off stage now, trying to go for the dare, not quite going to get followed, and that downward angled gun could become very pivotal as we watch later into the matchup. Arsene now out as well for Joker, another very important pivotal piece of his kit. He's not a slouch when it's not out, but as soon as it's out, it becomes incredibly dangerous. But the up tilt into Bear, really going to be, big move for Joker, a big move for Falco, a big move to confirm stocks. Trying to go for something early, but that Arsene now back out. It is just going to be the Joker up against the Falco. No Big Daddy here to help, but the 2 hits of the up smash are going to confirm it early. And Gogogoro-san only getting 60% off of that first stock. Now, even stocks here for Trombone really could get something working. It is going to be a little bit of that ladder combo, but the Rebels Guard able to tank a lot of it. Arsene now out. Double up tilt coming out for the side of the Falco and trying to get something, but it is going to be the back air into the side B. Offstage play. Ooh, the Joker not quite going to be able to connect. Allows for a little bit of a reset into neutral. The dare not quite going to get it. Up air could have gotten something, but will not find it. Now, and Joker over 100%, closing in on that 120. You want to kill him fast, otherwise Rage is going to be a problem for you. As far as Joker, 114. So again, good amount of Rage, approaching that 130 mark. Ooh, Rebels Guard going to be able to come out, and the dash attack with Arsene going to put off stage. Not quite going to be able to cancel the illusion, and the look for a counter not quite going to come out, but the Bear providing a lot of value, and it's going to be the counter coming out, putting Trombone onto his last stock, and it's going to be the read of the counter combined with the up smash now. Equalized stocks here for both players. Gogogoro-san well, either of these players wanting to put their respective school up needs to get this now, and it's going to be the start of the ladder here. Trombone getting a good amount of damage. But Joker starting to do something. Not quite going to be able to confirm off of that. The shield leads into Trombone, getting more of that. And now sitting at almost 90%, 85 to be exact. The reflector coming out will get that. And the read on the counter into the F smash. Trombone going to be able to take now 4 stocks of his own. Gogoro getting 1, but nothing more. And that right there looks like a little bit of matchup inexperience to me, which happens, you know, obviously new to competitive, new to Smash, new to competitive. Something that I know because I interact with these people on the daily, and us not having that Falco in-house really, you know, unfortunately hampering practice like that, but that is something that you need to look for. A lot of these high-level teams, top-tier teams, have very, very impressive Falco players who really can, you know, provide a lot of pressure for their team and truly, you know, turn the tides. CSU with Dr. Curb, Trombone for Valpo. I'm trying to think of any others, and I know there are others within this league. And even if it's not Falco, having some sort of player that is pivotal to your team's success is incredibly important to have. Having that, not necessarily hard carry, but having that very, you know, player who can just show up and show out and maybe be a little bit of a wild card, as we're about to see. Gay Rat stepping into the ring. This is one of our graduating players. They'll be with us for a semester and no more. And they're known as kind of a wild card. I took some notes down here earlier. Unfortunately, I didn't have Valpo's characters on hand, so I'm learning them as they go. But for Gay Rat, I have written down here, Zelda ? Looks like we're going to have another set of controllers paired up to the system. Gay Rat is an enigma. They are kind of well known. They're infamous at this point for having a clip with Hero at a GLEC LAN, specifically, if I'm not mistaken, the one that was held at the Football Hall of Fame. They used Mac a lot when they were in here last time. I've seen them play Zelda. I've seen them run everything, and they prove to have good impact with all of them. However, it is going to be figuring out exactly which one they want to stick with, and it is going to be the Mac coming into this game, so I will edit my notes at some point to include that on there for the current season. And now, Gay Rat's Mac has provided a lot of pressure for a lot of different players, a lot of different characters. So it would be no surprise to me if they were able to take this efficiently, especially with the value that KO Punch can provide. But Mac is a character that really is susceptible to getting taken into the air and getting taken off stage. Mac is someone who does not have a lot of recovery options, but can deal out a massive beating. But obviously something that comes with playing a character like Mac is going to be knowledge of what makes a character good and what makes a character bad. It's what makes low-tier heroes so scary. They know the matchup. They know what makes this character good. And that KO punch, it's going to get burned out here. Mac and Gay Rat now barely unable to make it with that up B. Unfortunately, going to be costing them BW the first stock, and now really looking to take this next stock, you know, with haste. 34% now onto Trombone. A little bit more going to be coming out. But Falco, once he's able to get an advantage state, he is really able to hold it down and hold it down steady. But it is going to be that next connection coming out for Gay Rat, and the read on the illusion will get it. Another stock taken for Valpo, or a stock taken for BW. Equalizing characters, or equalizing players, but not equalizing stocks. BW now on the back foot. Gay Rat going to have to overperform to equalize things if they're looking for. Otherwise, that last player who, I've got a hunch who it is. I'll save it for when they actually rip it out, but I got a hunch who it's going to be. Valpo going to be sending out Musty Tater. Again, with these counter picks, with these characters being thrown up, it's all about understanding and knowledge of how you want to play into certain characters. Mac is a very weird character. He should be very easy to take down in theory. He's a character that has very limited aerial impact. He's got a character that has pretty bad recoveries, as we saw in that match. But he's got this fun move called KO Punch, which he can just rip in Raw, or he has setups that he can run. And he just kind of runs house, honestly. I'm not going to lie. If you're a player who does not either have experience in the Mac matchup or does not have a lot of theoretical knowledge of the Mac matchup, you can just get run over by, a good Mac. And there's enough good Macs that a lot of them know what they're doing. A lot of them are starting to learn how to play Mac incredibly well. And a lot of that comes down to players like Peanut, people who play the character in bracket, fully trying to win, and, going for these options that are what make the character good. Again, stage selection now going to be incredibly important. Gay Rat able to ban out the stages that they know aren't going to be as impactful for Mac, that they know aren't going to be very good. And it's a question of where they are going to get taken. I have one stage that I'm not entirely sure how Mac does, but I feel like he would do incredibly well. I would be very astonished if I see us go there, but I could see a reason why, and that may be avoided here with the stage selection. So another thing that plays into all of this, as the mind games continue, as I have been bringing up this entire thing, is that idea of stage selection. Taking us back to PS2, I'm not entirely surprised. There's a reason people jump into PS2, and there's a reason that if you set up at your local, there's a good chance you're going to go to PS2. So Musty Tater playing the Kirby is a very interesting pick going into Mac. It's not a bad pick, but it's one of those things where I'm very curious to see. Kirby, also a character that is susceptible to some sort of stoppage when it comes to recoveries. Obviously having a lot of jumps, but the actual recovery itself not being the greatest, and auto up down, so it's not even something like Clouds where you can cancel it. But also Kirby having a lot of big value that can be popped from the air. But right now it is going to be Gay Rat. I was going to say an unanswered percentage, but now Musty Tater able to get that 30, now 43% onto Gay Rat with these strings. Gay Rat not quite going to get sent off stage yet, but now with KO Punch locked and loaded, there's a lot of things that can be done with it. I know there's a lot of things that you can look for, but getting hit by that dash attack is going to completely get rid of it. However, the jab 1-2 going to provide a lot of pressure. Now it's just it's a game of chicken. Who wants to pull the trigger first? And it's going to be Gay Rat equalizing stocks now, looking to get some sort of advantage. 80% on the board. A lot of things can happen. Another 20 coming out onto the side of Musty Tater. Gay Rat not going to quite be able to connect with that smash. And it's going to be brought up to 90 now. 106 in the block. Could have really been a problem for Gay Rat, but will be able to avoid it and get the reversal. 40% onto the side of Musty Tater, who will just elect to go across and reset us to neutral. An up throw putting Gay Rat to 120, and that F smash, it's going to connect Gay Rat now onto their last stock. A lot of connection, a lot of confirms. No kills quite yet. Kirby trying to go for this, for the usual neutral B cheese into a kill. But Gay Rat not going to be able to get collected by it. 105 onto this Kirby. And nice little 1-2, 1-2. Now equalized stocks here. Valpo and BW down to the last stock for this third player. Could be the lead into the fourth and final, but it's going to be this Kirby combo getting us up to 55%. But Gay Rat responding right back. Up to 65 now with the KO punch. In tow, will not hit it. Now the reset off stage. Kirby could have done a lot to punish there, but Gay Rat doing due diligence, being able to avoid it. Now percent's almost equalized. Gay Rat with a little bit of a lead, and Kirby really not wanting to approach, wanting to let Gay Rat make the first mistake. And the roll in from ledge is going to get collected by the Kirby F smash, and it's going to put BW down to their last player for this first round. And I'm going to be honest, I have a pretty good idea of who it's going to be. Yeah, it got swapped. I knew who we were going to send in. Anyway, so Yara Yara Pen is annoying and really good at the game, and will let you know not only that he's really good at the game or that you are not great at the game. He will yell, "You got hit by that," in friendlies because it's funny. And I'm not going to lie, it is. He's a Game & Watch player, second year with BW. He was an important piece to our system last semester, and he continues to be an important piece this semester. Obviously, for anyone who follows Smash, you know Game & Watch, you know he's stupid, you know he's insanely good, and Yara Yara, he knows how to play the character, and he knows how to play the character good. So it's as simple as that, honestly. He runs against whatever. He's done incredibly good against a large swath of characters from his time, both here in Neo, but also his time down in Colorado, where he resides before college. So he's got a lot of experience, not only playing the game, but also in a lot of different matchups. So, as an anchor, that's an incredibly important thing. Having your last player be able not only to know a lot of matchups, but play a character that they're very good at, but also be cool under pressure. It's one thing that doesn't get talked a lot about in like esports in general, obviously being an Iceman or whatever. Like, that's always a pivotal. That's always an important factor for a lot of games. But in a game like this, where you might need to overcome significant deficits, having an Iceman, having a very cool, calm, collected person is incredibly important. It's something that a lot of teams maybe have players who have the skill for it, but don't have the mental fortitude for it. It's a very, it's a thing that's sought after for a lot of these teams, and it's something that obviously the best teams not only are going to have the best players, but the best anchors and the best players in each respective role, so to say. Hollow Bastion is going to be the stage of choice, a single plat here coming out. It's going to allow Yari Yari to get a lot of pretty good options and cover a lot of landing options that may get thrown out here. As we get loaded into this match, obviously, Musty Tater going to have to get rid of those two, be on his last, and Yari Yari just going to get to run it and see how far he can take it. Obviously, if he takes 4 before he loses 3, BW win the first round. If he loses those, Valpo wins the first. And although it's not game over, there's a massive mentality and a massive emotion shift when one team wins the first. You have a little bit more room to play with as we get into this match. And instantly, Musty Tater going to be able to break out with 23%, but it is going to be Yari Yari starting to get some of that percent piled up, and this is where Game & Watch is going to be able to do some of his best work. Musty going back to the ledge, allowing Yari Yari to keep that neutral control and keep that space control. It's something you really don't want to let Game & Watches get away with for free, and we're seeing exactly why. 60% onto Musty Tater. Game Watch not quite going to be able to get that grab, and the rapid jab is going to be able to deal a little bit more percentage. It's going to be able to also get him off stage, and the up B is going to send off. It's going to be another bear in, and that's just going to be Yari Yari cleaning up that one stock fast. That's what Game & Watch is good for, and that's what he's going to be able to do here on the main stage. Now bringing it down to a standard, just simple 3v3 against the last player of Valpo, and it's going to be Aloha. This is one of the players that I wrote down earlier when I saw their roster lineup, and I saw all the people. I was like, all right, let me write these players down. Let me see who comes out. So it's somebody that we knew about. As far as what character and what they want to go into, that's always the question. And again, this is another important thing for when you're figuring out your matchups and whatnot. What does this team like to have as their anchor? Do they like to have a very in-your-face character? Do they like to have somebody slow? When we think about players who are incredibly good anchors, I think about Arctic from CSU, a Rob player with just an incredibly cool, calm and collected mentality. I also think about players like Gus and Blake, not quite in that anchor role, but really able to show up like that. And I think about one of our teams that won last semester, Duck 190, the Diddy Kong player for Manchester, who I believe graduated out, but I could be wrong about that. Players that know their character incredibly well and are able to play it at such a high level that they are able to really control the pace and control the tempo of any game they're playing against, no matter who they're playing against. And that's the show of an anchor. It's someone who is not afraid to play their own game, but someone who is willing to force their own game onto other people. Force your pacings, force your timing, and force you to play the way that I want this match to be played, not the other way around. And Game & Watch is a character that can just really do that. I'm going to be 100% honest. Game & Watch kind of plays his own game, and you're just kind of there. And it's if you jump into the Nair, you're probably taking 30 to 40. Unless Game & Watch knows a setup in which you're dead. And that's just kind of how Game & Watch plays. So having him as an anchor and having a pilot who's incredibly good with him as an anchor is super vital. It's something that's incredibly important for a team. And obviously the stage select, it's taking a minute. These teams both know how important the 1 point advantage that first game is when you're looking at a series like this. So you need to give it that time. You need to give it that thought and take as much of a breather as you can in between these sets. They're incredibly high intensity. They're sets that go back and forth, and bringing it down to this just raw 3v3. It's the purest form of alt that you can find, and it's something that's super vital for all these teams. Because again, as I said, every week matters. Every match matters. You really want to make it to LAN. It's a great opportunity. It's something that I've been able to go to both as a spectator, commentator, and as a competitor. And it's a feeling that's unlike anything else. So obviously starting week 1 with a W in that column, getting a nice 2-0 or even a 2-1, super important. Going to be going to Battlefield for this final match of game 1, and it's going to be against a Little Mac. So we've got dual Little Macs in this match. So obviously Yari having some experience against Little Mac, obviously having one in-house helps, but everybody's going to play different. And so it's really going to be about how can one of the best characters in the game do against one of the voted worst characters in the game. And one of the things that you are going to see early is going to be getting Mac up into the air and forcing a lot of pressure out of him. But as we saw, Yari incredibly low on that shield already, going to need to play the defensive game, but not with the shield. It's going to need to be with the movement, almost getting shield broken right there. Mac incredibly close to having this KO punch. That up B not quite going to charge it, but it is going to get him incredibly close. So Yari needing to watch out for that, because letting Mac get an early, letting Mac get an early stock lead is going to be something that could incredibly change the tides. Mac off stage. Yari not quite going to be able to confirm, and it's going to be the KO punch rip that is going to take the first stock here for the side of Valpo. And now Yari operating at a deficit, needs to take this stock and needs to take it fast. The double bear coming out, able to send Mac incredibly off stage, not going to be able to get back, and that is going to be equalized stocks. And back to neutral we go. Mac able to get a little bit of an opening, starting to do something here. 45% onto the side of BW's Game & Watch, but could have gotten a reversal. Not quite. Yari able to start getting that percent back on. It's going to be the up air jugglage, and this is one of the reasons why Battlefield, for this character in particular, I'm a little, not necessarily worried, but a little interested as to why the selection was made. Game & Watch gets so much value off of having triple plats, allowing for so many different juggling opportunities, allowing to keep you up in the air. Obviously, it gives Max little bits of mix-ups with how they want to land, but that bury into the F smash is going to confirm it. Aloha onto his last stock. Yari still playing with 2. Back and forth now commences. The F smash going to be able to get Yari into what could have been a little bit of a sticky situation, but now back out of it. Almost thrown back into it, playing around with the offstage and aerial pressure that Game & Watch is known, not only known, but notorious for at this point. And Mac, really the king of grounded combat, but not quite going to be enough at this point. Yari jumping in with those nairs, getting the up B punishes. Anytime you touch his shield, he has a response. going to keep the pressure high and keep it rolling. Up air last hit going to be able to connect and allowing him to keep this juggle rolling. Mac going back up into the air. The back air is going to connect. KO punch getting burned in the air dodge is not quite going to be able to get the snap to ledge, and that's going to be BW taking the first point in this best of 3, taking that game and putting themselves in a very good position. And now's where a lot of the fun of this competitive format comes in, and it's that mid-game adaptation. How does each team want to change up their strategy going into the next set? Some teams like to take a break. Some teams want to just rip it right back and run it. And it's all about that. Now you know some of the characters that your other team is going to have. You know what they have in their back pocket. You know how their players play. You generally have an idea of the order, but maybe you don't 100% know. And now comes the mind games. Do you want to lead with the same person that you led with? Do you want to swap it up to something different? It's all about finding a balance. And as we're sent back to me, I'm assuming that means that both these teams are going to be taking a little bit of a break to really talk that strategy, talk that shop, and figure out how they want to approach the next set, the next game, and potentially the final third game here in this matchup. It's all going to be about that adaptation, and that's something that we're going to have to find out. Cool. As I'm being told by production currently, here for this call, we're actually not going to be cutting to a break. We're going to be just going pretty much straight back into it, running things back, because that's another thing where it's like sometimes just momentum is high, and sometimes your players just know what they want to do. Taking that break is always good for a mental reset, especially if things are really tough or if things are really close. But sometimes players just thrive in that energy of just being able to play and being able to play fast and just being able to lay on the pressure. Sometimes it's just about keeping your pressure, keeping your pace, and keeping the way that you want to function high. It's just, sometimes that's how teams like to roll. And obviously these two teams, it's both looking like it. For the side of BW, obviously, who we're sitting with right now, it's looking like it's going to be Goomba taking up that helm, taking up that run back again. And with Valpo still going back and forth, trying to figure out what they want to do. I'm assuming stages are also yet to be selected. This, say the selection of Battlefield here for Goomba, something I haven't seen. I don't know if I want to say in a minute or ever, but it's something that I have not seen from him in some time. But we will wait and see, as we tend to do here. Again, mind games to be commenced. I believe with Double Blind, Valpo, still selecting, still waiting to see what exactly they are going to do. Who are they going to send out? What is the play? What is the plan? I say if the graphic is correct, we're going to be seeing that Little Mac stepping back into the ring. And if we go back to Battlefield, something that I worry potentially about how everything is going to shape up. I forgot this existed. Okay. If this is actually what gets selected, I will be fearful if it is. Goomba over the summer did have a notable stint of playing King DDD. And for those who follow the scene, King DDD has recently taken up mantle as the community decided worst character, or one of the worst characters in the game. Obviously, Mac has limitations in his offstage play. Ganon is incredibly slow, and there's a lot of characters that could contend for that. But it is going to be the King getting brought out here on the main stage of GLEC, and I know it's online, so I have a little bit more faith in it, but I am still fearful, and I'll have to ask the rationale on this one once I get the chance to. With stages being up for selection and characters being locked in, we're going to wait and see exactly who is going to get brought into this match. Yeah, so as I say, we have obviously still Goomba here. You know, what exactly is going to get brought into the ring by Valpo? Is it going to be one of the players that we have seen before? Is it going to be one of the characters we've seen before? Or is it going to be something different? Is it going to be something that has not been shown in their hand yet. We just have to wait and see. Here's that we will be we'll have to wait a little bit more as BW gets the correct stage inputted. Going to be going to small battlefield here. And unfortunately, I believe the DDD. Yeah, the DDD was not coming out. I figured it was a troll lock-in just while we're waiting, just to keep people entertained. But yeah, in a competitive sense like this, I was not expecting to see it. Just because it's like, hey, it's good coverage for one. Probably nothing else. It's not going to get you very far if you... I mean, you can get one, but if that's it, that's it. There isn't much else that you really can do. It's like, let's say, final things getting communicated, final things getting connected. And we should be having our players load into the match very, very soon. So it is going to be a mirror match, or I believe a mirror match of what we saw, or a mirror of the first match with AAG and Goomba taking things out here to start. Well, maybe not. They may have reported a character and either forgot to select the right character or reported the wrong player or whatnot. As I say, with that back out, it does appear things might be getting shaken up here. With this is, let's say, BW re-enters the ring, so I don't know if it's a miscommunication or if AAG also has this Mac in pocket, which, who knows, maybe the character pockets at this point are incredibly deep. It looks like we're going to be loading into it just like this. So it's going to be Goomba again running it on the Link, but it is going to be AAG here on the Little Mac, starting things off. And I believe this matchup is going to be something where Goomba is going to have a field day. Link, having a lot of projectiles, does incredibly well against characters like Mac, characters that rely heavily on their setup and whatnot, because the amount of projectiles that you have really can force you can force Mac to, have to approach. But Mac, with a very good punish game, can do a lot of damage. Again, it's one of those things where KO Punch now online. It's going to be the spot dodge, able to get it out. And the aerial up B, not quite going to be able to connect. That little bit of combo from Mac. Going to keep Goomba off stage. Back on twice. The 2-frame has failed, and it allows Goomba back on to the stage and allows him to continue this pressure bomb. Not going to connect. Shield going to be able to prevent it. And that side B attempt, not quite going to get there. And now it's just a usage of Boomerang. Grounded up B. Again, maybe a little bit too predictable on that. The bomb recovery not quite going to come out. Goomba losing his first stock. And if he wants to win this out for BW, he's going to need to get that soon. But the aerial counter coming out, nullifying that up air. But Goomba is able to get back into it. A little bit of a follow from Mac could have led to something, that one stray hit. But not going to get much more. And again, that grounded up B getting predictable, but the up smash into the F tilt is going to get Goomba on to the board here. With a little bit of back and forth from these two players. It's really going to be about who is able to strike first on this second stock, who's able to perform that first lethal blow. And Nair not quite going to be able to connect, but that up B is actually going to scoop at the very end. Boomerang into the bomb. We saw this come out in the Sonic matchup. Goomba going to get thrown back off stage, going to be able to bring it back on, but Mac just with the pressure. Up B, bringing Goomba back onto the stage. And another attempt at that 2-frame, not quite going to be able to connect. Ooh, the KO punch, saving it in the back pocket, getting it done with just, I believe, the jab, and now putting Goomba onto his last stock, but able to get that KO punch off the board, so now won't have to worry about it. Hopefully for this stock, able to take it before that comes back. Otherwise, it could provide to be a very lethal option, but the jab string going to get Goomba up to 25, and the grounded up B, again, trying to sweep, but just not going to be able to confirm it. It's going to get him off stage, but just going to sweep past the ledge. Actually goes back onto stage, gets a little bit of pressure onto Mac, but nothing really to confirm a kill or anything. Trying to read whatever tech option it was, not able to pick an option fast enough, and actually now able to hit that grounded up B, able to get one player on board. The air dodge into the bomb's radius could have proven to be lethal, but will not find anything. The dare into the fair, nothing to be found. A lot of big damage options getting thrown out, and it's going to be that grounded up B, actually able to take the stock. Now Goomba on his last stock, almost at 90%. Mac at only, well, now at 25 after that F tilt. Gonna be the catch. F smash going to be able to get him up to 75. Now off stage is Mac. Dash attack not going to be able to connect, and it gives Mac that little bit of a start. What could have been a very pivotal blow will get avoided now. It gives Goomba a little bit of a survivability. Will not quite die to that up B. Now needing to play around it, KO punch is going to be on the board incredibly soon, but Mac is off stage, and it's going to be the boomerang into the F tilt, which confirms Goomba able to take that stock. And just like the last start, it's going to be BW with the one stock lead after the first players are thrown out. And now, unless the league changed its rules, which I believe it did not, that means that AAG has burned Valpo's use of Mac. So now we're going to have to be seeing Aloha take up another character when he gets fielded later in this match. And that's one of the other things that can sometimes be a problem for certain teams, which is character overdependence or character similarities between players. If you have a lot of players that play the same character, the issue is you can't field everyone on the same character. It's a pretty standard thing. It's like to prevent cheating and whatnot, because obviously if you field Joker 4 times and say it's 4 different players and you just have one person play Joker the entire time, that isn't really competitive. That's just one guy playing a match all by himself. So it's a strategy used by a lot of these online leagues to make sure that you aren't, sending in players on characters that they don't, or sending in the same player on a character that they play because they played earlier. But that is what gets rolled sometimes. And that's one of the risks with having people who play the same character on the same team. If you have multiple people who play the same character, you can only use one person on that character. You can't use multiple people on the same. So, like I said, Mac is now off the table for Valpo. They will need to find someone else to fill that 5th if Aloha only plays Mac, or the Mac will need to, or Aloha will need to have a secondary character, which I'm going to note in my notes. So now, Valpo needs to figure out what their plan is. Obviously, again, it's Link at 1 stock. He is going to be reset to 0, so it's not going to be as easy of a match where he's 1 stock, he's high percent, just roll him and move on to the next. It is going to be a little bit more of a struggle as he's going to start from 0. And whoever Valpo choose to send in, again, is looking to play for a little bit more. Obviously, letting your anchor just deal with everything is a strategy that can be done. However, you can't always rely on your anchor to overperform. You need to have everyone in your lineup, everyone on your team be performing to their fullest if you want, everyone to show up. And Valpo going to be sending out Coconut, kind of player that I do not have a lot of information on here. So it's going to be about seeing, hey, what exactly do they play? They chose to go to FD, which scares me a little bit, because if it's one specific character, it's not the character that I thought it was going to be. So Coconut, being a Sora player, BW had a Sora in them, I don't know, semester or 2 ago at this point. Oh, my camera has frozen. Nice. BW had a Sora in their lineup last semester. Eloquence, one of the best Soras in Ohio. I believe just recently dethroned by Cornball, a player from that Columbus region. But incredibly good Sora. Prepped a lot of our players on that Sora matchup, so they know how to play against a very high level, a very technically minded Sora. So a lot of these strings that we're seeing come out from Sora with Nair 1-2s, things that can be thrown around like that, a lot of these players are prepared for at this point. They know how to play around that, and it is going to be that bomb drop. It'll kill Spark, but it won't quite kill. But again, playing around that. The 2 charges of side B, not going to quite get him out of range of that grounded up B, and it is going to give Goomba the stock lead, not only in the game, but also, well, it's going to give Goomba another stock extra %, doing above what he was built to do. And now, going to be looking for more damage, more of that, not only %, but also more stocks if possible. And sitting at 70%, Sora combo is incredibly deadly, really could confirm off of this if Coco gets what they are looking for. But Goomba still going to be playing around it incredibly well, using those projectiles, playing around them incredibly diligently. Now we'll continue the pressure. The grounded up B, not going to be having a secondary hitbox. Now off stage, the Sora could have done a lot in that position, and it is going to be the bomb throw that is going to get Goomba pressured, but back on stage now. These players equal, and Goomba now put himself in a very scary position, but it is going to be the convergence there now. Equalized stocks Goomba at that 120%, so there is going to be a fair amount of rage with a lot of these hits. But it's a matter of, can you kill? Can you confirm off of this? A little bit of waffling around as the 2 players are next to each other, trying to find an opening. And that freeze, the double up smash, is going to take it now. Goomba taking 2 stocks off of another player there, able to really bring things together, but just not quite going to be enough. It is going to be Valpo, still down 2 stocks, but able to finally clear Goomba off the stage as we look towards what is going to be the next character, the next selection that gets made for BW to combat this Sora. And again, they've got a lot of good options here. Some players that I know are there, some players that aren't quite there, or some players that may not be there. And from this character selection, I guess from this controller, actually, we'll be able to figure it out. And it is going to be Super Mario coming out here. A very good Mario coming through our program. Snell's been with us for an incredibly long time. I believe one of the founding members of the program, now out here again playing at this high level in these big matches. He's proved himself working through our lower ranks, now bringing himself up to this point, and now he's ready to show what's good. Now he's ready to show what he's made of. And again, Mario, known for ladder combos, known for a lot of very simple things, and he also, again, being here almost as long as Eloquence was with us, means that he's got a fairly good amount of practice against this Sora. So whatever he is going to choose to rip out is going to be what ends up what's going to be giving them a good place in this matchup. Oh, there I am. Alrighty. We solved our tech issues. I'm back now. So once we get the controllers paired up and everything, obviously Mario, very based on ladder combos and whatnot. So he is going to be very important to really be getting a lot of that early pressure. Sora, also one of those characters that can be dealing a lot of that damage in a similar way, getting a lot of these aerial-based combos. So a lot of it's going to be about who is going to be able to get their combo started first and break out of the other's combo fast. It looks like might. Alrighty. I was going to say, it looks like we're going to be having a little bit of some technical issues, a little bit of a delay. So we're going to come back here and hang out. And honestly, so far for this game, I've had a blast casting it so far. Both these teams obviously showing very good stuff. Again, bringing it down to a last person situation. Not necessarily a last stock situation, but a last person situation. So showing that a lot of these teams are very evenly mixed, and looks like we are going to be taking it over to Kalos. What team are we throwing on? What music are we throwing on? We got a good option here. So yeah, as I said, it's going to be Super Mario on that Mario, taking up Coconut on that Sora. And again, both have incredibly deadly combos if you can get it rolling and get it started. A lot of it's going to be about who's able to start who's first and who's able to break out of the others fast enough. As we get things rolling, it is going to be obviously Coco bringing it down to the last stock here before things truly get started. And then it is going to be all about that back and forth. Who is going to be able to get things started faster? Little bit of a combo coming out here from Coconut, but Super Mario able to get a little bit of percent, able to start to equalize things, and will kind of pause back. The down smash from Coco starting things off hard, but Super Mario able to get a little bit of that ladder coming in. The up B able to get massive percent, give him the lead. Sora, things able to reset back into neutral. The grab not quite going to confirm, but it is going to be the back and forth. Air coming out for Super Mario, not going to be able to read the roll, but able to get the back air in. Both players over 100%. Blizzaga now on the field for Coco. It's not going to connect, and it's not going to confirm into anything. Now up to 127. Not the kill hitbox of the dare going to connect, but it's going to be the up smash, and that is going to get Super Mario losing no stocks. Able to take that one confidently and quickly, and giving BW not only the stock lead, but a full player up. Now Super Mario going to be able to stick in and play around with whatever else he would like to. Both players going to get out of this. And now, again, the onus is now on Valpo University here. A lot of ground to be made up. Down an entire player here in this matchup. It's going to be about who can you send in to really bring up your team, really bring up those stocks, rack those kills up, and get things rolling, because you're going to need to do that as soon as possible. The longer you go even, the more of a lead you're letting BW have, and the more room you're giving BW to really move around and figure out what they want to do. For the side of BW, again, you're kind of chilling. You've got a lot of, well, you've got an entire character, an entire player of wiggle room, and you've also got a lot of really good picks sitting in the background. Obviously, you're going to be looking out for, at this point, the side of Trombone and the side of Musty Tater. You know who both those people are playing. You know their characters. And you know kind of how they play, because you've seen both them come up now. But as far as the rest of that goes, you're really going to be looking towards, what else do they have in stock? Obviously, you could just send out those two players and call it cool. You have two players left. You've got two known quantities, but it is going to be something else. It's going to be Gold Shroom stepping into the ring. So again, a new face, a new character, something new to worry about and something new to figure out, as you have not only this player of wiggle room, but obviously you don't want to rely on it 100% of the time. You obviously want to, give yourself as much confidence as you can, and what that would be would obviously just be to 12 stock somebody, but teams are going to go back and forth, so you want to keep that lead running as much as possible. Both players, it's looking like both are going to be in, or well, it looks like both players are about to be in the ring. Going to be going for maybe a little bit of the music counter pick here from the side of BW. Pulling up some melee music here on the stream, and it is going to be a Roy stepping into the ring. So, Roy is one of those characters that honestly plays pretty well into Mario. Both of them like to be up close and on top of you. It's no surprise this is going to be, or by how both these characters are played, it's going to be a very in-your-face, action-packed match here, as we've already got a 34% coming out for Super Mario, but instantly getting grabbed and reversaled, and both these characters just instantly back and forth. There is no neutral to be played. It is all about that advantage state, and can you control it? Super Mario trying to get the reversal and will find it after a little bit of struggle, not able to get that up air to continue the combo, and it is going to be the jab into the up air for the side of Gold Shroom, but that F smash is going to be able to connect and confirm Super Mario taking his first stock in this matchup. Now Gold Shroom running on a stock behind, needs to find Super Mario's first fast, and it will be just that held neutral special taking Super Mario's first now. Trying to get things rolling soon. It's going to be a little bit more pressure, a little bit more of a confirm. Super Mario with that dare, not quite going to be able to get all the hits out, but might even be better that it didn't. It's going to be a ladder combo into the F smash. Super Mario now taking Gold Shroom's second onto his last. Mario knows exactly what he needs to do. Play the time, play the advantage that you have. The turnaround on the neutral special will not connect. Mario gets that F smash out. Now in the air, not wanting to let another stock be taken. Jumping around, the get up attack not quite going to connect, but it is going to be that swing. Puts Super Mario into a good position, not quite going to be able to get the stock the same way as last time, but the back throw now. Able to put a lot of pressure, trying to get the cape connection on the recovery, but not quite there. And now both down to their last stock. And Gold Shroom with a % deficit to make up. The recovery is going to be there, but Super Mario with the get up attack able to connect. Not quite a confirm yet. But Roy obviously with very potent combos, with very potent swordsmanship, especially when he's up close on top of you. Trying to get some sort of swing there, but nothing is going to confirm. It's a lot of whiffed hits until the back air from Mario able to connect. Be off stage, but not going to give up his options, give up his opportunity. The back air sends back off stage, and it's going to be another back air kill spark, and it will confirm. It sends Valpo down to their last player, and Super Mario still sitting pretty on one stock. It's going to be the on-stream saved replay, and I think I mean I know why. Like hitting the ladder combo into the F and that last hit on that last stock. I mean, fair enough, man. Both were pretty cool. So, what is Valpo going to pull for their potentially final character of the match? You need a player that's going to be able to take 7 stocks if you want to continue in this series. So you've got a lot of good options. Trombone, not a bad choice, and it's looking like it is going to be him. Hey, everybody. Hopefully I'm back for sure. Obviously, a Falco player with a very, very good level of control, a very good level of pressure that can be thrown onto the enemy team. We saw how potent his ladder combos were. We saw how potent his cutscene combos were. And this guy is not afraid to let some smash attacks just rip in neutral and let it fly, let it ride. So, getting some pressure down like that is going to be pivotal to succeeding. And dealing with that pressure is going to be pivotal for BW taking down this last player. Obviously, you have the 2 players to play around with, you know. you have enough space where you can really just worry about, oh, hey, how do I want to take this? Do I want to take this slow? Do I want to take this fast? Yada, yada, yada. You can send some different players in. You can experiment a little bit. But also, as I said, sometimes your schedule, you've just got a lot of, problems that are sitting down the road and you want to build a lead early. And that's just really going to be, how does BW see this match? How do they want to treat it? Obviously, given some of the newer step-up players some playtime with Gogoro-san and this time with Super Mario, who got some playtime last semester, but is going to be a much more key piece here. Both players playing very well, able to take their stock, at least be able to do what they were needed to. Super Mario going above and beyond the call to arms, really being able to cement a lot of pressure for BW now. And potentially able to do a little bit more on trombone. Again, he's on his last stock, so one or two of those Falco cutscene combos and just a bear or an F smash, and we're moving on to the next player from BW. But if Super Mario, if he's able to move around that, getting a couple stocks is never a bad thing. You're never going to complain that one of your players was taking extra stocks. It's always nice to have. It's always nice to see. It's always a good time when you're playing with players who can not only pull their weight, but be doing exactly what they need to do. As we get these stage bands rolling here, it's really going to be about where can we nullify cutscene combos, which unfortunately don't have a lot. They're very aerial based. They work really with any stage that you want. And really it's all about positioning, being around that. Valpo University setting up their characters, setting up their selection, making sure everything is good. BW potentially needed to change that stage around, but otherwise just looking to get into it, just looking to start things and get things rolling. So it is going to be no change in preferred stage. Trombone on that Falco stepping back up, looking to see what he could do against this 7-stock lead that BW has accrued.
3, 2, 1, go!
The game is going to start. Super Mario having to take those 2 stocks from himself, but then we've got a game on our hands.
Hands off my prey.
Start with both. It's going to be the F smash to Super Mario that is able to connect over the F tilt from Trombone. Super Mario moving around those lasers, getting the cape in, getting a little bit of damage, but it is going to be Trombone starting that cutscene combo, able to get a lot, even with the platform reset, trying for the back air, but it's not going to be able to connect. It's not going to be enough. And now a reset to that neutral spot dodge from Trombone, able to keep him out of that F smash range, but again, a little bit of an allowance for Super Mario to start doing some of his best work. The F smash not quite going to be able to connect. The run over. Illusion up high. Able to keep Falco onto the stage. Super Mario now off. Could have gotten followed by a drill, but will not. And it allows him to get back on stage. Get that dare and the forward air not quite going to connect, allowing Trombone to get that F smash. And the Falco taking the first stock early and fast, not allowing Super Mario to get much ground, not allowing him to get much space. And now requiring BW to send in one of their 2, and they're just going to try to pull it early. They're just going to send in Yare Yare. We already saw this guy play the Game & Watch. We already saw him come in and try to wreck house. It's just time for him to try and run it again. Simply put, Game & Watch is good. Falco is good. Both these players know how to play their characters. We're going to be seeing a lot of swinging here. And as I say, we saw Yari Yari do good work against the last 2 opponents last time. Only 1 person to play against this time. And the hope is just to get it done fast, because obviously in the back pocket you have players like Gay Rat that you can pull up. You have players like Gogoro-san you can pull up. There's another one that I know is in, but I'm not sure if he's here, which is obviously important because you kind of need to be here to play. But you have enough resources left in your back pocket that you really should be able to deal with this guy 100%. And in all honesty, Yari Yari is the type of player who can just take care of him right now. And we're going to be going to Battlefield. I'm not too surprised about that. I'm a little worried. Falco is a character that gets a lot of good stuff off of Battlefield. Triplats means that he's able to get a lot of resets with a lot of his ladder combos, with a lot of his cutscenes, and he's able to get double jumps back incredibly fast because he has not only the two side plats, but also the top plat. So if he's high enough up, he can just drop, get it, and reset. But it's just going to be a straight 3v3 Yari Yari Trombone coming in. It could be the final match of this matchup if Trombone is unable to take all three, but if Yari Yari is able to take all three. But if Trombone takes it, one more player required from BW, and potentially another full set required from BW, but the block of that illusion into the up air. Trombone at 70%, sent off stage. Not going to be ripping any early recoveries, but it is going to be Yari Yari getting the weird hit of that down smash and the drill with the double hit into the bear, sending Falco far off. Not quite going to be able to get the interruption, but it is going to be the roll read into the F smash. Yari Yari taking this first one early and trying to keep things swift. It's going to be Trombone really trying to get that fair to connect, but it's not going to be there. And now you're in a Game & Watch combo, and that is exactly what we are looking at. Nairs don't work. You got the back air to connect, and it's going to be the up B out of shield, keeping this pressure on high. Wild back air from Trombone, able to keep him off stage. And the hit of that, going to be the read of the bear into the illusion. Not quite a high enough percent to kill, so he is going to go for that dash attack to keep percentage on high. And the 2-frame with the down smash. Yari Yari wants this game over with. He wants to go home. But it's not going to be quite yet. Trombone able to take it with the send up into the bear. But again, 2 stocks to take versus Yari Yari only needing the 1. The combo not going to be able to continue. The up air not quite going to connect, but it is going to connect here. A lot of good percentage getting thrown. Bear as well. Keeping Pen far, keeping Yari Yari far off stage, but the double back air keeps him so far. He is going to be able to recover high. Now a reset into neutral. Either player could really take control of this. It can be Yari Yari who starts it out. Fair into the jab, big damage. A little bit of chef to get thrown out, and is going to be the berry into the F smash. BW taking that one fast. Great work from Super Mario to get the stock lead, and great work from Yari Yari to close things out. BW starting the season up 1-0. Valpo University putting up a fight, but unfortunately falling down to that 0-1 space. But like I said at the beginning, it's early season. Both these teams still have a long time to play. They've got a lot of matches to be made. Plan is still possible for everybody in this league, even though these first games are coming out. It's still possible for everyone to make it at this point. So both these teams showed some great stuff here. Obviously, one team won, one team lost, but in the end, both these teams could make it to LAN, or even the team that lost, even Valpo University, they could turn, they could have a massive performance later down the line and bring it to LAN. And BW, the road could just get rocky and not make it. There's a lot of time to be made up. There is a lot of time to play, and there's a lot of games to be played. But for this broadcast and for this match, BW 2-0, taking the first one, getting themselves a notch in the win column early in the season. That's going to be all from me. Match concluding. That's all I have to say. So again, thank you all for tuning in for me. I've been Air, bringing you coverage of this game by myself this time. It happens every once in a while. Sometimes you got to just bring the solo caster on, and I hope I've been able to entertain you and bring you good coverage of this game so far. Make sure to stay tuned to, obviously, GLEC, Game Arena, all of these outlets for action, and make sure to stay tuned with your local universities. A lot of them are putting on their own broadcasts, much like this, trying to bring you coverage of their team. So if you got a team, if you got a player, maybe you're friends with, maybe you're family of, go check it out, ask them around, see if they've got a broadcast, and make sure you stay tuned to that. But for this broadcast, that's all I have to say. Thank you all for watching. It's been a pleasure to bring this game to you. Make sure to stay tuned for GLEC. There's more action coming soon.